How's it going, bros? Welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a recap and review of UFC 324. Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje. What a fight. What an incredible main event. Absolutely stacked card. I thought it was going to be a little bit, the card started off super strong. And then it just kind of gradually weakened over time. But it was a pretty solid card nonetheless. We'll go ahead, starting off with the early prelims. We've got Adam Fugit versus Ty Miller. Ty Miller with a nice straight down the pipe, dropped Adam Fugit very end of the round. Beautiful, clean knockout. Love to see it. Buzzer beat. One of multiple buzzer beaters we saw. So, phenomenal knockout from Ty Miller. Adam Fugit, kind of a bum. Moving on. We've got Josh Hokett versus Denzel Freeman. Oh, man. Shout out Josh Hokett. Put up a top 5 promo of all time. Absolutely beat the brakes off of Denzel Freeman, was riding him like a fucking cowboy, spanking his ass, flipped him the bird, and then Freeman, alright, I'm done. First ever knockout by bird flip. What a fucking goat, dude. Shout out Josh Hokett for that. Absolutely insane performance. Cuts up one of the best promos of all time. Calls out Brittany Griner for whatever fucking reason. His whole thing was awesome. Josh Hokett is the reincarnation of Colby Covington. He deserves to be on prime time. Every single card, he deserves to be fighting on a pay-per-view card. He does not deserve to be at the Apex. Put this man in front of a crowd. Shout out to Josh Hokett. I mean, I'm a fucking fan. He made a whole bunch of fans last night. I'm a fan. What an incredible performance and an even better performance on the mic afterwards. Moving on, we've got Alex Perez versus Charles Johnson. Whew. I guess there's no rematch incoming. Damn, dude. Charles Johnson slimes out Joshua Van, but anybody else that's remotely good, he can't do it. He's not good enough. Alex Perez was putting belt to ass against Charles Johnson. And then they were like, oh, Johnson, he's looking pretty okay in there. I'm trying to remember what the exact line was. But they said, oh, he's looking all right in there. And then Alex Perez hits him with a nasty straight. Johnson starts walking towards him, falls on his face immediately afterwards. It was a bad look. And then tries getting up, falls on his face again, tries crawling over to Alex Perez. It's over, dude. It's over. You got chinned by Alex Perez. It's kind of over, dude. Charles Johnson is the definition of a gatekeeper. He's not good enough to beat any of these top guys, but he's good enough to kill prospects. So anytime, I guess there's a 125er prospect we don't like, feed him to Charles Johnson, because that's the only way he's going to get a win. Moving on, we've got Nikita Krylov versus Bukauskas. Honestly, this fight was kind of mid. Both of these guys were very timid throughout the majority of the fight. But I think that was just because Krylov got chinned in his last fight by Dominic Reyes really quickly. And Bukauskas went to war, I think, against Kutalaba last. Was it against Kutalaba? Let's see. Who was his last fight? I think it was against... No, it was against Paul Craig. And then before that, it was Kutalaba. Okay. But yeah, I was not impressed. I am not impressed by your performance for either of these guys until Krylov really turned it on in the third round and got that buzzer beater knockout. So good, good for Krylov. He still got it. He's definitely lost a step, possibly a few, but he's still good enough to be a gatekeeper at the bare minimum. And Bukauskas did not show anything that he was going to be good enough to beat Krylov. So, I think Bukauskas needs to go back to the drawing board. And, I don't know, give Krylov someone like... I don't think he's fought Agent 47 yet. So, I'd be down to see Krylov versus Guskov if they haven't fought yet. I don't think they have. Let's see. Krylov and Guskov fought... Oh, yeah, that was his last fight before Guskov. And he got knocked the fuck out. Never mind. Just kidding about that. Moving on. We've got... Oh, man. Atepa Gauthier versus Andre Pulayev. You know what? Pulayev earned a lot of respect for this fight. He looked terrified for the first half of the first round. He was just running around, scared as fuck, just trying not to get chinned by Gaethje. And then I think he realized about 2.5 minutes into the first round that Gaethje's arms are really stubby. He's got so much power, but it's hard to connect with all that power when you've got little T-Rex arms, you know? When you're, this is as far as you can go. When your punch only goes out this far because you've got tiny T-Rex arms, it's kind of hard to, like, get these long, rangy guys. And Pullaev recognized that pretty quickly into the first, like halfway through the first round. And then just kind of started picking him apart at range. I thought Pullaev definitely won round 2. And for the start of round 3, I thought he was going to win it until Gaethje managed to catch him with a couple really clean shots. In some of these like clinch breakaways, Gaethje would have the better of the exchange. But Pullaev was definitely picking him apart on feet. It was just like no damage, so you can't give him the win. So Gaethje definitely won this fight. Don't get me wrong. But it was a very unimpressive performance. Very Joe Pyfer-esque. Ateba Gaethje has headhunter syndrome. He's got it bad. Same thing with Joe Pyfer. That's the whole reason Joe Pyfer lost to Jack Hermanson, and the reason why he almost lost to Kelvin Fatsalam. The reason why Kelvin Fatsalam did so good against him is because Joe Pyfer wasn't trying to piece him apart. Joe Pyfer wasn't trying to mix it up, wasn't trying to grapple with him. Joe Pyfer just wanted the knockout all fight long. And that's why he lost against Jack Hermanson. Ateba Gaethje, he was headhunting the entire fight, wasn't really trying to point score, definitely wasn't trying to grapple. And if he continues like this, he will run into other guys. He'll run into a guy like Strickland. He'll run into a guy that is way more defensively sound than he is offensively capable. And it'll just be an embarrassment on the feet. Unless Gaethje gets rid of that headhunter syndrome. But Ateba Gaethje has still got crazy, insane power. It's just nothing landed clean all night for him. You know, he landed quite a few shots. Nothing was clean. I don't think he landed a single flush on the chin, single flush on the button, on the temple. I don't think he had any of that. And so he was looking really sloppy, just trying to get the kill all fight long. But definitively won the fight. I think you can't give him that big of a step up in competition. Like before, I was like, oh, if he kills Pullaev in the first round, fuck it, just give him someone ranked. But now, I don't think so. I think you give him someone like a Christian Leroy Duncan, you know? You give him someone who is very sound on the feet defensively and has fought some of the, you know, bordering on the top 15 guys. But I don't think you give him anybody ranked at this point in time. I think he gets cooked. But yeah, Ateba Gaethje, not so impressive performance, but definitively won. Pullaev impressed me with his durability and his evasiveness. Moving on, we've got Umnar versus Figgy. This fight fucking sucks. Here, hold on. Davison Figueiredo. Hold up. Davison Figueiredo. Where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? What does he even do? Davison Figueiredo, what does he even do? Because that was such a bad performance. He didn't throw anything. Normally Figgy likes to do these, grunting where he's, loading up. He's got his hand down here. He does these, grunting overhands. And he, whenever he does it. And, he always has it loaded up down by his hip. And that used to be, one of my favorite things about Figgy, was he would do these, big grunting overhands where he's, chasing you down with one hand in front, and then the second hand is just down by the hip, ready to unload, just ready to, wah! But no, it was, that was one of the things that made you a Figgy fan. That doesn't exist anymore. Simply does not exist. He only exists to take punishment now. He doesn't throw anything. He doesn't attempt any takedowns. He doesn't, try to clinch up. He doesn't, go for, he will throw a guillotine up when you're taking him down. and then he'll sit in butterfly guard. That is what Davison Figueiredo has turned into, and it's really sad because I used to be a big fan of Figgy. But yeah, no, Umnar won. Super boring decision. I am not impressed by your performance. Type performance. Umar, there's really not much to say about it. He just wrestle-fucked him for like 2.5 rounds, basically. Picked him apart on the feet. Figgy didn't do anything. There was a moment at the end of the second round where Figgy was really turning it up, and I was like, oh my god, is Figgy actually gonna like start fighting? No. It never happened in the third. It was just like a 30-second window in the second round where if Davison Figueiredo fought like that the entire fight, he would have whooped Umar's ass. But he didn't, because what does he even do? Yeah. But yeah, Davison Figueiredo versus Umnar. Boring ass fight. This shit was putting me to sleep. And I don't think Umar gets a title fight after this. I don't think so. I think we got to see him fight someone else. You know? I don't think Umar deserves a title shot after such a wimpy performance from Figgy. Because it wasn't even like Umar didn't look good. Umar looked okay. Umar looked good. Don't get me wrong. It's just Figgy wasn't doing shit. That's the problem. You know, it's one thing when one guy looks really, really good. It's another thing when one guy looks really fucking horrible. Like, one guy looks like he doesn't want to be there. One guy's just out there collecting a paycheck. Now, there's a huge difference between the two. And my stock on Figgy is dropping substantially. Feed him to feed him to Peyton Talbot. Honestly, feed him to Peyton Talbot. Peyton Talbot will eviscerate him. At this point in his career, he's not good enough. Feed him to Talbot. He just doesn't do enough. But yeah, Umnar gets the dub, I guess. I don't know. Have him fight Song Yadong next, because Song Yadong looked good. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Moving on, Arnold Allen versus Gene Silva. I think this is the right call. I think it was the right call, especially round 3. I think was the right call. I think Arnold Allen definitely won round 1. Round 2 was kind of a toss-up. I definitely think Silva won it, but I wouldn't be upset if you were like, no, dude, that was really, really close. But round 3 was definitely Silva's round. It was a phenomenal fight. Great fight. It just kind of sucks to see Arnold Allen have to, you know, get taken out by Mossad. You just hate to see it. So, I think Arnold Allen's still really fucking good, but John Silva, they're going to make him fight someone like, I don't know. Oh no, I can already see it. John Silva versus Lerone Murphy to get the next title shot. I can see it now. I actually can see it now. John Silva versus Lerone Murphy gets the next title shot. I can see it taking place in like 3-4 months. Oh my gosh. And then they'll fight Volk or Diego Lopez at the end of the year. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah. Why do I see that happening? Why do I also see them moving John Silva into the top 5 for this win? I could see them just straight up like, oh yeah, he's a top 5 fighter after beating Arnold Allen. Arnold Allen was 6, but he's top 5. Moving on. Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas. High-key robbery. High-key total fucking robbery. But we do not care. Natalia Silva's bad as fuck. You know, give it to her. I'd love to see her, you know, be the champ. That way we don't have to deal with Shevchenko anymore. You hate to see it for Rose, because Rose is like an actual fighter, which is, it's very rare that you can say that about these women fighters. But Rose is like an actual competitor, a real deal fighter. And this was stolen. She won. She won rounds 2 and 3. That was a complete robbery. You hate to fucking see it, but not really, because Natalia Silva's bad as fuck. All right, moving on. Nobody else cares about this. That is the most anybody cares about that fight. Moving on. Me no black, papi. Me no black. I Dominican, papi. I Dominican. Me no black. Hold on. Papi, me no black. I Dominican, papi. I Dominican. Bacon, egg, and cheese. Cheese, 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 cheese. Bacon, egg, and cheese. Cheese, cheese, cheese. Waldo Cortez Acosta with a weird knockout. It was almost like he hit Derek Lewis cleanly, but it wasn't with like a ton of power. It's just like a nice straight that popped Derek Lewis in the mouth. And then Derek Lewis just like fell on his butt and then just accepted it. He didn't like defend himself, didn't try to get back up, just accepted the beatdown. And then Waldo got the TKO. It was a really weird fight. Waldo was way too fast for Derek though. Derek Lewis, he was looking 40 years old. He was looking his age. He was looking like, you know, he still definitely has power. Waldo felt his power at times, but he doesn't have a lot of the speed he used to, which is weird to say about Derek Lewis because he's never been a fast guy. But he had some quickness to him. You know, he had a really snappy jab, and like that's not really there anymore. And you can really tell Derek Lewis he's just older now. And you hate to see it, but Waldo's the real fucking deal. Waldo is the real deal. I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up doing an interim belt with Waldo. So Waldo, he's the only guy in like the top 10 of heavyweight that has any hype around him right now. And he's doing it consistently. I was not a huge believer in him at the beginning of last year. Now, after he had those 2 knockouts in November, I'm a believer, you know? I'm a believer in the bacon nigga cheese, you know? But I think Waldo's the real fucking deal. I think Waldo versus Gane would be a really fun, interesting fight. I think Gane probably beats him, but I don't know. I could see Waldo clipping him. I actually could. Because he is deceptively quick for how fucking fat he is. But yeah, that was one of the main things that I was noticing throughout this fight was Waldo is deceptively fast for how much his titties jiggle. I've never seen someone with like double D's that's able to pop in and out, pop, you know, pop, and then like switch stances, and then, you know, hit him, pop, jab with the right hand. Like Waldo is really impressing me, you know. Me no black puppy, me Dominican. Shout out to Waldo. Moving on. We've got Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. I'm going to say it. Song Yadong was fucking robbed. Song Yadong was absolutely robbed. The most definitive round was round 3. Sean O'Malley had the most definitive round. Absolutely. Song Yadong won round 1 and 2. O'Malley did not do enough in rounds 1 or 2 to win either. Yeah, look at this. Total strikes. How much... I wish it said how much control time he had in this round. But yeah, they were evenly matched. And then for, I want to say, the last 2 minutes of the round, O'Malley was just under Yadong, not able to do anything. So I thought Yadong won round 1. Round 2, Yadong definitely won. There's no question. Round 3, O'Malley won. But I think Song Yadong beat Sean O'Malley. I think that Yadong was too girthy for him. I think that Yadong has too much power. I think that when O'Malley was trying to come in for a face full of Yadong, he was just getting stuffed, you know. Yadong was stuffing him. And he couldn't deal with Yadong on top of him. You know, Yadong was too powerful whenever it was on top. All right, I'm done with these. Yadong was too girthy and powerful. But, okay. Enough dong jokes. But no, Sean, he was, don't get me wrong, he was looking good on the feet. And he was staying at range. And you really saw that in round 3. But round 1 and 2, he lost. I definitively think that Sean O'Malley did not win this fight. And I love Sean O'Malley. I've been an O'Malley fan for years. You hate to see this. And then his call out afterwards really kind of like, come on, dude. You can't be celebrating that hard, that huge, like you just won this all-out war. You picked him apart on the feet in 1 out of 3 rounds. You lost the other 2. I don't know why you're acting like you just won the belt again. Calling out Peter Yan, I mean, it's smart. It is what it is, you know? You just, I don't know. I want to see O'Malley get another win before he gets a title shot, but I've got a feeling they're going to run the trilogy, and then O'Malley's going to get an immediate title shot afterwards. Unless Merab wins, but I don't think he does. But yeah, very, very upset about this performance from O'Malley. I wanted to see an O'Malley masterclass. I wanted to see O'Malley, you know, dancing on him, dribbling the basketball. He didn't do any of that shit. He looked really sloppy and really timid in there. He wasn't throwing a lot with his hands, especially in round one. Round one, it was like he only wanted to kick. He didn't start using his hands and letting them flow until the third round. And by then, I thought it was too late. But, you know, it is O'Malley. It is Dana White privilege. This is the first card of the Paramount era. If it's close enough to give it to O'Malley, they're going to give it to him. And this decision genuinely made me so fucking worried and terrified for the next fight because of how unbelievably biased the commentary was. I've never heard worse commentary than on the main event fight. But yeah, they were glazing O'Malley this entire fight too. You would have thought that Sean O'Malley was putting belt to ass if it was just the commentary. He was not. He was losing a very close first and second round, and then won a definitive third round. That's how I thought this fight played out. Should have been given to Yadong, but I am not surprised in the slightest that this is the result. You know, I think that this is worse of a fight than his fight against Petr Yan. I thought that fight was closer than this one. I think Song Yadong beat O'Malley worse than Petr Yan did. And a lot of people think Petr Yan won that fight. But yeah, moving on. Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. Hey lad, Scousers don't get knocked out. We just crack on. We just keep getting chinned every 15 seconds and drop to our fucking knees. Oh my goodness, Paddy. Paddy was getting beat the fuck up. Don't get me wrong, I think Paddy won round 3 and won round 5. Justin Gaethje was putting belt to ass in rounds 1, 2, and 4. Justin Gaethje, I don't know how he didn't kill Paddy in round 1, 2, or 4. There were so many moments where I was like, this is it. It's over. Paddy's done. He's finished. Justin Gaethje is going to get the finish right here. And then Paddy somehow survived. I don't know how he did it. Round 3, he looked really, really good. And Gaethje stopped throwing the right hand. So I thought Gaethje broke his hand or something. Because he stopped throwing it for about a minute and a half. And then, you know, he ended up throwing it again later on. But I thought he broke his right hand. And then Paddy really started bringing it to Gaethje in the third. And I was like, oh shit, maybe the momentum's going to shift back the other way. Fourth round starts. Gaethje cracks him once. Paddy's like, oh fuck. Gaethje starts using that right hand again. Paddy's on the back foot all over again. I really don't know how Paddy Pimblett didn't get finished. He has a hell of a chin. It was an incredible fight, though. Great fight. Absolute war. I'll be real, though. I'm extremely disappointed with Paddy's performance. Didn't attempt really any takedowns. Didn't really try to go for any grappling. He is a grappler. Justin Gaethje beat the shit out of you on the feet. I don't know why anybody... that should have been expected from Paddy. He kept throwing these weird, after Gaethje would crack him with something, Paddy kept putting his hands down. But it wasn't just that he had his hands down. He had them down like this. So he was doing these, he'd get cracked by a punch, and then he'd do these, gay-ass hand motions, where he's and then he started at one point, after I want to say in the third round, started getting hit real bad. He started throwing these, gay, hammer fists, where he would, where he's standing like this, and then he's, throwing, these weird gay standing hammer fists. And sometimes they'd hit Gaethje and, actually hurt him. I don't know how that worked. But yeah, Paddy was doing a lot of, he wasn't punching. He was literally, lobbing his hand at Gaethje, And based on commentary, you would have thought Paddy Pimblett was putting belt to ass. No, Paddy was getting his shit pushed in. So let me read what I wrote down. Paddy looking sus as fuck with so many of the punches he's throwing. These gay ass standing hammer fists, and his hands are down in a gay ass way. That's just my notes. And then I also said, the most biased commentary of all time. This is a quote from John Anik. Paddy's finally showing that he's a human being. Late in the 5th round, after getting his ass beat for like 3 out of the 4 prior. Paddy's finally showing that he's a human being. What the fuck are you talking about? Finally showing that he's a human being? He arguably lost to Jared Gordon. Paddy Pimblett has shown that he is a human being on many occasions. He's shown that he's a human being since like the first punch of round 1. What the fuck are you talking about? He's finally showing that he's a human being. I need you to show when you're a human being, John Anik. When are you going to finally show that you're a human being? When is Joe Rogan and DC going to finally show that they're human beings? What the fuck? You are bot programmed by DC or by Dana White to glaze Paddy Pimblett for this fight. That's what Paramount wants. That's what Dana wants. You could see it on Dana's face when he was putting the belt around Gaethje. He was so fucking annoyed. Everybody wanted Paddy to win this fight. And don't get me wrong, I wanted Paddy to win it as well. I thought Paddy versus Ilya is a much more interesting matchup before this fight took place. Don't get me wrong, I wanted Paddy to win too. But once it was so clear how biased the commentary was for Paddy Pimblett, I was like, nah, we want Gaethje to get the finish. That way there is no excuse for them to give it to Paddy. Because after the robbery that just took place the fight before, and Paddy had 2 good rounds, I was like, there's no way. They're actually going to rob Gaethje and give it to Paddy. And like Paddy's body language during the, the decision, he knew he lost. He knew he got his ass beat. You could tell just based on his body, he's sitting there clapping like open pose to Gaethje, clapping. Gaethje standing there with his arm raised up, head held high, very triumphant, and Paddy's just like, hey lad, he fucking beat me lad, I don't know what to say. He fucking cracks hard, I don't know what to say lad. And then, now they did the right thing and they gave it to Gaethje, but I was so fucking terrified they were going to give it to Paddy Pimblett. I was so terrified. Thankfully, justice has been served. Justice for Justin. Gaethje gets the belt. And now he can get killed by Ilya. But his walkout, I was so worried about him. His walkout and then the stare down. I was like, Gaethje, this is Gaethje's last fight. He doesn't have the normal aura that he has. He's very somber in this moment. Once the fight started, nah. Good old Justin Gaethje. Put belt to ass. But yeah, what an incredible fight. Honestly, you gotta book Paddy versus Hooker next. I know that Dan Hooker just pulled out against his in his fight against BSD. You gotta put Paddy versus Hooker. Because of the comments Paddy made and because of the shit Dan Hooker said back, you gotta run Paddy versus Hooker next. You have to. It is a must-watch fight. But yeah, Gaethje versus Ilya next, Paddy versus Hooker. O'Malley's probably going to get the next title shot. I think, honestly, O'Malley should fight Umnar. Then that determines who gets the title shot. And Jan and Merab run it back. That would be perfect. That's not what's going to happen. They're going to put O'Malley on ice for like 8 months. Let him get some time off. They're going to run Merab and Piotr Jan back. And then the winner of that gets O'Malley. Song Yadong, you hate to see it. Total robbery. He's probably going to fight Umnar next. Waldo might get an interim belt. Derek Lewis, I don't know. Put him against the roid monster that almost beat Curtis Blades. I don't remember his name. Natalia Silva, she's getting a title shot next. Rose Namajunas, I don't know. Put her up against Alexa Grasso. Gene Silva, he's probably going to fight Lerone Murphy, bruv. Arnold Allen, I don't know what they're going to do with him. He might have to take another 2.5 years off just because. But I want to see him get back in there soon. I want to see him get back in there soon. Someone against, a bounce back fight. Someone like top 10, but like low top 10. Someone that's like ranked 8, 9, 10. Maybe even just outside the top 10, but still ranked. I want to see Arnold Allen get one of them. Maybe Amin Zahabo fight. Maybe, I don't know. But somebody like that. Umnar should be fighting O'Malley next. Umnar might be getting a title shot. They might just put him on ice. Who knows? Figgy, send him to Peyton Talbot. Send Peyton Talbot to execute Davison Figueiredo right now. Ateba Gauthier, I don't know, have him fight someone like Paul Craig, I guess. Have him fight someone like Shara Bullet. Ooh! Yo! That's a killer fight. Oh my god. Yo! Ateba Gauthier versus Shara Bullet is an insane fight. Book that now. Okay, we don't care about matching up any of these other guys. Besides Josh Hokett. Josh Hokett, give him someone I don't want to say it, but you might have to feed Shamil the Blob Gaziev to Josh Hokett. It might need to be done. We might be done with Shamil the Blob Gaziev. We might be moving into a new era of heavyweight. Shamil hasn't been working out for us. The title walk, it still might be incoming, but I'm not holding my breath. We might have to feed Shamil the Blob Gaziev to Josh Hokett. Alrighty, y'all. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next weekend, too, because we got another fight. UFC is fucking back. Oh, Volk versus Lopez is next weekend. Stay tuned for my predictions on that card. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Adios.